Hello and welcome to the Gleaner Podcast for Wednesday, January 31st, 2024. I'm Chantal Hortop, Managing Editor for the Gleaner and host for this season of the podcast. Though many people have heard of the Women's Institute, they may not know quite what the organization does. I sat down with Linda Janes, who, until recently, was the president of the Chateauguay Huntingdon County WI, and is now president of the organization for the province of Quebec. Linda filled me in on the various projects the local WI has on the go, as well as the history of the organization. Happy listening! So, if we could start off, if you could just introduce yourself and tell me how you fit into the WI.
Okay, well, I'm Linda Janes, and I'm president for the Chateauguay Huntingdon County WI, and I'm also currently president of Quebec WI. I just became president.
That was one of my questions.
In November.
That's very exciting. Congratulations.
Yeah, and kind of by default, but
That's fine.
but I'm now stuck with the job.
Right.
And actually this year I've been president of the county for 7 years.
Okay, yes.
And this year I'm stepping down.
Okay.
And Ruth Shalley-Fu from Hemmingford is going to be taking over. So
can you tell me a little bit about the history of the WI, the greater organization?
okay, well, I actually have a pamphlet here that my brother made for us.
Oh.
It started in 1897 by Adelaide Hunter Hoodless.
Mm-hmm.
Her son died from drinking unpasteurized milk,
Right.
her infant son. And she decided that she wanted to help educate women, farm women, rural women that didn't have access to all the new stuff out there and proper hygiene and that. She was also a home economics teacher, and she was very interested in that. And so she started the Women's Institute.
Right.
And it was very well received and got all kinds of members.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the members, Mrs. Madge Watt, the WI started in Canada first.
Right.
And it was Mrs. Madge Watt that started it. Yeah, she took it over to England with her.
Nice for a change, right?
Yeah, well, because everybody in movies, in shows and everything, British shows, they always talk about the WI.
Right.
And everybody always assumed that it was started in England.
Yeah.
But it wasn't. It was started in Canada.
That's fascinating.
And then in 1911, actually January 27th, our birthday's coming up,
Right.
Elizabeth Ann Beach from Dunham, in conjunction with Jean Muldrew of Macdonald College,
Mm-hmm.
came and helped her to set up the first meeting of the Quebec Women's Institute in Dunham. So, and it's been going strong ever since. At our height, we were 2,500 members in 100 counties.
Oh, yeah. That's impressive for sure.
Yep. Unfortunately, we're down to 13 counties.
Right.
And about 230 members now.
Still low.
So, yeah. And we have 21 branches now. So.
And so then as we move along, can you tell me a little bit about the history of the WI here in the Valley? Right.
Howick is the oldest.
Right.
We did have Dundee, Huntingdon, Ormstown, Franklin. They were in operation when I moved here. And Howick is the oldest now. And then Hemmingford and Aubrey Riverfield. Dewitville is the youngest. We were always referred to as the baby sister.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, because we're just 65 years. And Howick is over 100 years. So it's it's been interesting. But yeah, and trying to keep track of all these.
I imagine.
Yeah, especially, and like I say, we were always considered the troublemakers.
Well, that's a fun reputation to have, really.
Yep. And actually, Chateauguay Huntingdon has always been referred to as the troublemakers.
Oh, really?
Because yeah. And Dewitville is the largest branch in the province.
Really?
Chateauguay, Huntingdon is the largest county in the province.
That's the thing. I didn't know we were such a hotbed of WI activity.
Yep. We have 58 members in our county. And Dewitville, we're at, our numbers have been changing. We just got 5 new members.
Oh, great.
And actually, the members we got were through articles in the Gleaner.
We'd love to hear that.
Yep, through your articles and through last year when we did the talk on the homeless and the women's shelter. We had some people from the outside that came. And they were very interested. And actually, Pectuder got a very large donation from somebody that had it. Yeah.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, they got a good donation. So it's but as I say, when it actually say Dewitville was 25 years, but that's pretty much what I know about our I've actually just become more interested when I became county president. And it took me a while to get into doing any of the positions.
So can you tell me a little bit what the WI is like today? Like what sort of activities go on
well, we don't do we used to have a lot of speakers and that come to meetings and that. But now there's not as many that are willing. Like we went to Grant's Bakery and they actually gave us a course in chocolate making, which was fun. Sarah and Ruth Ann.
Nice.
We had a fun day that day. And but now because of health, we're not allowed to go into these places.
Right.
We had a meat inspector come one time, and that was interesting. He came in his white coat. That was quite interesting. But now basically we focus more on, we go out for lunches, and if we can find a speaker that'll come to our meetings. And like last year we had Stephanie from Blossom Foot Care come and tell us about, she spoke to us about shoes, actually, and what type of shoes to buy and that. She was very interesting, very nice person. And so it's, if we can find people like that, and like Pectuder and Residentiel. And this year at our AGM, Marlene Harvey is going to be talking to us about Melissa's Sunshine Camp and the new building house that they want to, the new project that they're working on. That'll be interesting. So whenever we can find, and we're going to Blair's in March, and Jeff is going to talk to us about the bees. And
that'll be great.
Yeah. So it's more little things like that we do, and we're still working with the 4-H when they have their annual get together and that. And I don't think it's in our county this year. I'm not sure. We haven't heard what county it's going to be in.
Okay.
And actually 2 years ago, we did our AGM virtually. And we had sent in pictures of our stuff that we had made for the craft competition. Nice. And we had judged their competition virtually. So we asked them to reciprocate to judge. Nice. So it worked out very well. It was fun. It was interesting. So, but as I say, we try and focus on helping Days for Girls and things in the area that and worldwide.
So Days for Girls was the previous project taken on provincially as the new president. Do you have any insight as to what?
Actually, we're going back to working with Days for Girls.
Oh, wonderful. And actually, can you tell me a little bit about the Days for Girls project? I know we've written about it, but maybe some of our podcast listeners don't know that much about it.
Okay, well, Days for Girls is actually, it's evolved a bit too. It's a project to bring sanitary products to underprivileged countries, Haiti and Ghana. They just did a trip to Ghana this year. And it's reusable products that can be washed because over there they have nothing. And when it was that time of the month, the girls would be more or less shunned, and men didn't understand. And so we've been making the products and taking them over. Teresa goes with them, and Barbara White has been going with her lately. But now they've started certain countries like Ghana. They have people in the country that are making them for sale. So what we do is when we go to a country like that, that's more or less considered a red zone. We buy the products from them.
Oh, okay.
And we do the distribution because we're in their country. And
Right.
So that's one of the things. And when we're in a blue zone, we can take our own products. We can make those. But now they've started, it's a group called Men Who Know. So they're teaching the men about women's issues and also about violence against women, human trafficking. So when they're doing the sessions with the girls, they also do a session with the male students and the teachers and the men from the area to teach them about what women go through.
Right.
And about the thing that it's not something bad, that voodoo and all this sort of stuff. It's not something for them to worry about.
Right.
Explain it to them. That's a new thing. And when we do those classes, we pay for the interpreters. I think it costs us 50 cents a person.
Well worth the.
Yeah, exactly. So,
Yeah.
And, so basically, I'm encouraging our counties to find a project in their county because everybody's diverse, and find something that's really needed in their county.
Right.
And for February 19th, it's WI Cares Day, and that's when we're doing the thing about the membership, but also we want to approach schools and see if there's anything in the schools that they need, whether it be their breakfast clubs or something, and try and help them and try and make a donation towards them. Yeah, and try and go to some of the schools and see. I don't know how many of the schools. I think they're all doing the breakfast programs. And
I think, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm going to try and get our counties to focus on the homeless and women's shelters and stuff like that, because a lot of people in small towns, like which happened in Ormstown last year, they say, "Oh, there's no homeless in Ormstown."
I hear that also.
Yeah, so we tried to prove them wrong, and which helped them. And but a lot of small towns, because they don't. It's not like Montreal. I find if it's not right on the street in their face, like in Montreal, you walk down the street and you see the homeless.
Exactly.
But here you don't, unless you're a farmer and happen to see them in your woods.
Exactly.
In the back.
Or in outbuildings or...
Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And now, because there's more people from the city living out here, they maybe tend to know more about what goes on. But I know when I first came out here, they didn't know a lot of the history of what went on in Montreal. And especially, I grew up in the 60s with all the FLQ and...
all that going on, yeah.
All that going on. I mean, I remember the bombs going off at night. And my father worked night shift. And
oh, really?
Yeah. So you were always worried. But here it's a completely different lifestyle. But now with the internet and that, they are paying more attention. The younger people are paying more attention to what's going on. But they still, like I say, there's no homeless.
No, exactly.
No.
Oh, goodness. So to circle back a little bit, what sorts of challenges is the organization facing, either the larger organization or maybe specific to the Valley?
Mainly it's membership, getting people involved. One branch, the woman is in her early 80s, and she's the youngest.
Oh, dear.
In her branch.
Right.
Yeah. We have a member that still goes to a meeting down near Missisquoi, and she's 99.
Really? Well.
She still goes to a meeting. Yep. She still goes wearing her heels and her dress. All dressed up, ready for the meeting, and it's mainly getting participation, getting people that want to work on the jobs. And in fact, last night I had a board meeting, the FWIC, which is the Federated, and we had a board meeting, and somebody from Manitoba was saying they can't fill their board members. And the Hemmingford branch, there's 2 people doing all the jobs.
That's
President, vice president, secretary, treasurer, and there's 4 chair positions. And between the 2 people, they're doing
all of it.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah. So we're hoping to turn around and get, on February 19th, actually, we have a conference on membership.
Okay.
And all the provinces are going to speak about how they're getting new members or if they're not getting. And
that sort of networking is always useful.
To try and, but I have found this year with opening ourselves to the public, it's making people more aware of what's not just the Women's Institute, but what's going on. Because last year we actually did at the rec center, they had the health and wellness day, and we had a table there, and we gave out tick pullers.
Oh, okay. That's a good idea.
Yeah, because once before, just in 2018, I think it was, we sent information to all the schools to give out to all the children about ticks and what to do in that. And that was our county that did that through the county. So this year we decided, when they asked us to do it, we're saying, okay, now what can we, and then the idea popped in my head, ticks.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to try and do it again this year.
Mm-hmm. Certainly, it's an ongoing issue.
Yeah.
So are there differences between like the focus that the different branches have versus their activities, things that they do?
Yes, depending on the area. A lot of them, most of us, we try and concentrate on schools. And because our county, we were doing, well, actually, Dewitville branch, we did pen pals.
Oh, yes.
With CVR.
About that in the Gleaner.
Yeah. And we're doing that again this year.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, it's, I don't know if it started up yet. I know they were taking names for it. So,
great.
And so we're doing that again. And, and some are more active in their communities, depending on the people living in the community. Right. Like down in Missisquoi, they do teas. Cowansville, they seem to have a more English community that's more interested in this sort of thing, and an older sort of community. Right. Than now in Ormstown, we're getting a lot of younger people and
young families coming in. And exactly.
And it's sometimes hard to get them to come to things.
Exactly.
And even the town, they don't always get a big turnout for things.
This is true, yes.
Yeah. It's very diverse. And they all seem to stick to their own little, the different counties will stick to their own little.
Right. Depending on their interests and energies, I suppose.
Yeah. But we mainly focus, they're very interested in the Days for Girls. Right. And we've done a lot of work with them. Actually, we started this area. We started the only branch of Days for Girls in Quebec.
Mm-hmm. I remember.
And that was through the Women's Institute.
Maybe you can tell me a little bit about the Plats du Québec tartan project?
Well, that is still an ongoing project. And it's in February, it'll be 2 years since we finished the petition. And it's been back and forth over the 2 years to see how to go about it. Was one of the major. So then they looked into how other provinces adopted their tartans. Mm-hmm. And actually one of the things, the tartan was designed by David Weiser of Rotex Limited. He designed 3 tartans that year in 1965, the Quebec, the Ontario, and the Maple Leaf tartan. And I don't know what happened, but Ontario only adopted their tartan in 2000.
Oh, really?
The maple leaf tartan was only adopted by Canada in 2011.
Well, there's quite a delay.
Yeah. So I don't feel so bad that ours got delayed. So we finally, and then of course the government changed in the middle of all this.
Of course, yes.
But it is currently being looked after by Mr. Girard, the Minister of Finance, I believe he is. Yeah. And Alexandre Leduc, he's with the Quebec Solidaire Party. And there's one other person, don't have his name. And so they were still looking into, they decided a motion was made to amend the bylaw to change and to adopt the tartan. They've decided that was the easiest way to go. But then they had the question of, they had to make sure that nobody else has claimed the tartan as their own or adopted it or anything. So I've been working with, I worked with the Scottish Tartan Registry and got information from them. And the Scotland shop that designs tartans, they have over 500 tartans. And worked with them. And actually I met with Emily from the Scotland shop in November. She was in Ottawa.
Oh, okay.
So I met with her in person, and there is no other claim. And the St. Andrew's Society in Montreal, they looked into it, and there's no Quebec claim on it. So the information has gone back to them.
So now it's in the hands of the government.
Yeah, but with everything else going on, but I think there's a 2-year limit, but I'm not sure if but I think it's from the date of the motion, which was in May of 2022 when the motion was presented.
Still, that's coming up pretty quickly.
Yeah, February 11th is the date that the petition finished, and it was introduced. It was put into the hands of the National Assembly on February 17th. Okay. Because it had to be within 7 days of the petition. But we're just, I've been trying to get in touch with the MNA's office too, to find out any further information on it. So I have a feeling it'll probably be in the spring. Once all the other stuff settles down with hospitals and yeah. So, and actually one of our WI projects that I've sent to the MNA, we want to petition the Restaurant Association to have seniors menus.
Oh, yes.
Reduced cost and also smaller portions.
Yes.
Yeah. I can no longer eat. And certain stuff you can't take home in a doggy bag.
No, exactly. It doesn't quite work.
No. You get it home and say, I'm not eating that. Why'd I bother?
So if somebody local to the Valley wanted to join the WI, what's the best way for them to do that?
Contact me.
Okay, perfect. How would you like them to contact you?
Either they can go to my Facebook page. It's Linda Wally. They can also go to the QWI webpage, and QWI also has a Facebook page as well, and all the information is there. So, but they can just send me a message or something on Facebook or something. Wonderful. Yeah,
and I'll put all that information in the show notes also, so people will have it there. Written up. So good. Well, that's the end of my questions. So, thank you so much for taking the time to tell us a little bit about
no problem. Yeah, I hope I covered everything. I hope it...
Yes. Well, I found it fascinating, so hopefully...
Good, I do too.
I hope you found that as fascinating as I did. If your interest has been piqued and you think you'd like to join a local branch, I've put the contact information into the show notes. Be sure to tune in again next Wednesday, February 7th for another chat about Valley history. This podcast is made possible in part by funding from the Government of Canada through the Official Language Community Media Consortium, as well as a grant from the Bourse d'Initiative en Entrepreneuriat Collectif, a call for projects designed to support the creation and development of social economy enterprises and projects across the Montérégie region. Sound editing and sound design for the Gleaner Podcast is done by Stacey Pennington. Our theme music is by Christopher Pennington. It is produced by me, Chantal Hortop. Don't forget to subscribe to the Gleaner Podcast on your favorite podcast platform so you don't miss an episode. For more Gleaner content, check out our website at www.the-gleaner.com. I'll also put that link in the show notes. Thank you so much for listening, and we hope you'll join us again next time.